Tendo vocês já começado ou não a assistir Pluribus, parabéns se vocês conseguiram escapar dos engraçadinhos que contam qual é a premissa da série. Aí vocês vão ter a melhor experiência possível, porque esse é o jeito certo de assistir a essa série criada pelo Vince Gilligan, o mesmo criador de Breaking Bad e de Better Call Saul. É sem saber nada. O Vince Gilligan criou Pluribus especialmente para a maravilhosa Rhea Seehorn, que fazia o papel da Kim Wexler em Better Call Saul. E a Rhea Seehorn não só cumpre expectativas aqui, ela supera todas elas. Pluribus já está com 3 dos 9 episódios dessa primeira temporada disponíveis. E como ainda tem muita coisa para acontecer, eu mesma vi até o 5º episódio, ainda me faltam vários, portanto, eu não vou fazer resenha dela agora. Eu acho que a série ainda vai partir para muitas direções inesperadas e eu não quero me precipitar. Eu vou deixar vocês aqui com as entrevistas que eu tive a alegria de fazer com o Vince Gilligan e a Rhea Seehorn, ambos pessoas adoráveis, e vou deixar a resenha mesmo para quando todos os 9 episódios já estiverem disponíveis. Vou só chamar a atenção para vocês aqui de algumas coisas. Primeiro, da mesma maneira que Breaking Bad e que Better Call Saul, Pluribus se passa em Albuquerque, no Novo México, a locação preferida hoje em dia do Vince Gilligan. E uma locação que é ela mesma uma personagem e para a qual o Vince Gilligan desenvolveu toda uma linguagem. Vocês vão reconhecer aqui muito do estilo que vocês se acostumaram a ver em Breaking Bad. Aqueles ângulos inusitados, aquelas pessoas que estão no fundo da tela e subitamente se aproximam para primeiro plano, os closes em pedras que estão no caminho, numa roda de um carro, o uso todo especial que o Vince Gilligan faz do céu do Novo México, algo de que ele fala bastante nessa entrevista. Vocês vão notar também como o amarelo é uma cor extremamente importante para ele. E muito mais ao ponto, vocês vão ver como o Vince Gilligan aqui, ora se concentra nos prós do que a personagem principal dele, a Carol Sturka, uma escritora, quer, ora nos contras. O tempo todo ele vai estar discutindo livre-arbítrio versus bem comum. E eu, pelo menos, acho que tem toda uma outra visão correndo ali logo abaixo da superfície. Uma visão sobre os Estados Unidos mesmo. Um país que se considera livre, único, que não depende de ninguém e que, no entanto, consome recursos numa proporção muito maior do que a população dele representa em relação à população mundial. Pode ser que eu esteja errando o alvo totalmente aí, mas até aqui, pelo menos, essa é uma leitura que eu estou fazendo da série. Bom, fiquem agora com quem realmente importa, a Rhea Seehorn e o Vince Gilligan. Vince, Ray, what a pleasure to meet you both. Thank you very much for your time.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Is Isabella? Is it Isabel or is it Isabella?
Isabela.
Isabella. Sorry. Nice to meet you,
Great.
Isabella.
And what outlet are you with?
Nice to meet you too. Sorry?
What outlet are you with?
I have a channel on YouTube.
She's got her own channel.
Oh, nice.
This is very cool.
Video reviews on YouTube.
Oh, awesome.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, I like it. No, guys, very much on purpose, I remained perfectly ignorant of what Pluribus was going to be about. But even if you had given me a lot of time to guess, I'd never, ever have come close to the right alternative. So, Ray, I'd like to know how you felt when Vince first gave you the script or pitched the show to you.
Well, at first he didn't tell me anything, and I just said yes anyway. Whatever he's making is what I want to do. And then I got that first script, and it was bonkers.
That's right. I didn't tell you about it. You just read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep. And it was amazing. But I was like, so where is it going after this? And then I got the second one, and probably similar to your experience, this world just kept unfolding and having more and more surprises and going places I wasn't expecting. Everything from the very, very funny human observation stuff. I mean, I find the show hilarious often, to the soul-stirring questions that it brings up about life and human nature. I just was like, wow, he's gonna go all these different places, and I can't wait to go with him. I was so excited, so thrilled.
I have 3 episodes to go, and I feel like I can't wait to watch them.
Good.
Awesome.
Yes. What I don't want to give any spoilers to the audience, so I'd ask you, Vince, to please summarize the gist of Pluribus for my viewers, so that I don't commit any faux pas.
Oh,
here.
Gosh, I appreciate that, Isabella. I can't at this point. I can't say. I'm going to sound exceedingly coy to your viewers, and I apologize in advance for that. But it is a science fiction show. Pluribus is it imagines a world that starts off very much like our world, and then something big happens that changes the entire world. And the lovely Rhea Seehorn plays the protagonist, Carol Sturka. That's her character's name, and she is very much a reluctant hero, but she wishes to save the world. She is trying to put the world back the way it used to be. And she is so darn good in this thing. I knew she'd be great in it, but I didn't even know how. She even surprised me, even though my expectations were very, very high to begin with. It's the truth. It's the truth. You're fantastic in it. And people should watch it just for Rhea. Although there's other reasons to watch as well, because there's other wonderful actors, and it's a show that will get you thinking. I think there's a lot of food for thought, as we say, in this show.
I think it will have you get your head spinning. Is more accurate.
Okay, sure.
Well,
that too.
I have to say, Ray, that I hold Kim Wexler in my heart for as long as I live.
As do
and, I imagine so. And I'm learning to love Caro, this cantankerous, contrary, and grief-stricken woman, very much in the same way, although as a completely separate entity. So I think that's...
Thank you.
It's an enormous achievement for any actor to be so completely in charge of a character, of 2 such different characters, and make you forget one while at the same time you're never going to forget them.
Wow.
So,
Thank you so much.
That's very well put.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I just wanted to say that because I really do hold Kim in my heart. So
I think I'll give away a spoiler here for your audience. Carol does not have a ponytail.
Yes.
No, she doesn't.
She does not.
But you show the back of her head right at the beginning.
That's
and there's
right.
a little swish of hair right there. And I loved it because I miss her ponytail.
Do you miss the ponytail?
No, I don't. No, it was an amazing thing that it became so iconic and this barometer of how Kim was feeling at any given time. But it was fun to know that like this is a new journey, a new character, and literally shearing it off.
Wow.
And I love the swish, and I love when you're disheveled as well. And you are disheveled a lot.
I'm disheveled quite a bit. Yes. But it was fun having those conversations where I love that Vince and his crack ace team of makeup and hair and costumes and all these people having very real conversations about the state of grief that she's in personally and what has happened to the world. Like, would you go do your makeup? Would you take a shower? No, we've all been, sadly, in such dark places. Well, not of the sci-fi realm that she's finding herself in, but I just loved that you let those things be realistic in that. How would you really behave as a woman in that situation, and to not have her try to be attractive? And then also it was like really fun at some points to start thinking about like, what would your appearance be if nobody is going to look at you ever? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
I don't know. I mean, there's times that I put makeup on because it makes me happy, but I guess other days I would just wear a trash bag. I don't know. I like clothes, but those were interesting questions of like, what would you do if nobody was ever going to look at you again?
Well, you know,
in her head when she's isolated. I mean,
sure. Yeah. Well, it helps that you're adorable, just period across the board.
No, but
so, you know, it sounds weird when I say this, but certain actors look good beat up, and I think you're one of them. You know, the other one was Bruce Willis. He always looked good when he had like scars.
Yeah, and sweaty.
Yeah,
he looked good sweaty.
Yeah, so you're in good company.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You are in good company. And guys, they're telling me to wrap it up, but it's been such a pleasure talking to the both of you. And I can't wait to see where it goes from that cliffhanger on episode 5.
I don't think you will have guessed where it's going to go.
How you doing?
I'm great. Better now. Vince, from the very first episode of Pluribus, I got the feeling that this is something you have been mulling over for a while now. Is that a correct impression?
You were very astute. Yes, I've been thinking about this show. I tell you, I wish I'd written down when I first got the idea, because I'd love to know the answer myself as to exactly how long it's been, but it's probably been a good 8 or 9 years, maybe going on 10, maybe going on a decade. But I started pondering this idea walking around during my lunch hours on Better Call Saul. I would take these long walks after I ate my lunch, and I would start to ponder this idea. It sort of came to me one day on one of these walks. I was thinking specifically about a story in which a guy was treated very well by everyone around him. He was treated with the utmost respect and love, and people would do anything for him. And that transformed gradually, week by week and month by month, into the story that we tell in Pluribus. But it was originally going to be a male protagonist, because that's generally what I write, because that's, I'm a guy and that's what I know. But it dawned on me, I was very lucky, the timing of this, for many reasons, but one of them being that at the same time, Peter Gould and I were working on Better Call Saul with Rhea Seehorn, and I just loved her. She was so wonderful. She's such a wonderful person, and she was so great in the part of Kim Wexler on Better Call Saul that I thought, gee, I really want to work with her again. I gotta figure this thing out for the day when Better Call Saul ends. I gotta have something to jump into next, and she's going to be much in demand. Someone else is going to snap her up, so I better plant my flag here, and I better have something to pitch to her. And luckily, it worked out that way. That in the waning months of Better Call Saul, I actually had a finished script to show her, and that was a good thing.
Smart move.
Thank you.
2 questions stemming from this answer. First one, how did the idea unfold more recently as you went into production and as the world around us was changing?
Well, the world does feel like it's changing greatly in a very short amount of time lately, and I think that's probably concerning to most people. People are thinking, oh my God, everything's changing so quickly. It's like the ground underneath our feet is shifting. And I don't know at the end of the day that changed the way we told our story, partly because the process of making a TV show, at least for me, it moves exceedingly slowly. We had 9 episodes. We've created 9 episodes for season 1, and they took, I hate to say how long they took, but it was the last several years that we've been working on this show. It got extended by about 7 months longer than it would have been because of the Writers Guild strike. But nonetheless, it takes me a long time to do my job, probably longer than I wish it did. And so, and generally speaking, I feel like I'm not a particularly topical writer. I don't write things that feel ripped from the headlines. At least I don't intend for it to feel that way. I come up with a character. Yeah, I don't really do that. I come up with a character that intrigues me, whether it's Walter White or whether it's Carol Sturka. I come up with a character that I find interesting, and then I find a way to build a story around that person. Having said that, in this version, it was more of a situation. In this show, it was more of a situation, people being very nice to one particular individual. And then it transformed into this other thing. But it really, the shows that work the best, for me anyway, center around one character that I really fully comprehend and feel engaged by. And that certainly was the case with Walter White, and it is the case here as well. I think in terms of character more than story or plot, although plot is very, very important too, but I don't really think in terms of themes as much or topicality. I realize after we've made a show what I think the theme of it is, and then when I answer questions about Pluribus, for instance, I say, I think the theme is this, and I sound very grandiose, but that stuff I kind of only realize later. It really is about the character first and foremost.
Albuquerque is a character as well.
Albuquerque's kind of a character as well. That's the one thing these three shows have in common is Albuquerque. Yeah.
Do you think your stories would be different if you had to set them somewhere other than Albuquerque? Do you think there'd be a different feel to them?
I think so, particularly with Breaking Bad. You know, Breaking Bad, when I first wrote it, it was written to take place in what we call the Inland Empire, in the various towns east of Los Angeles, California. So it was going to very much take place in Southern California. And that was my intention. And then the folks at my studio, Sony, they said to me, would you consider setting Breaking Bad in Albuquerque, New Mexico instead? And I didn't really know much about Albuquerque. I'd spent only a couple of days there in my entire life at that point. And I said, why Albuquerque? And they said, well, there is quite a wonderfully generous rebate that the state of New Mexico has for film production. They're trying to attract film production to the state of New Mexico in order to, make money for the state. So it's a win-win for everybody. So this rebate that they offer could be a really good thing. And you as a producer, they said to me, could wind up putting more of your actual budget onto the screen. And they explained all this to me, and I thought, that sounds pretty good, I got to say. So I changed right then and there, basically changed the setting to Albuquerque, and I've never looked back. Albuquerque, Southern California, no one can beat the weather anywhere in the world compared to Southern California. It's the most temperate, wonderful weather in the world. But what that means most of the year is the skies are just blank blue without hardly ever do you see any clouds in the sky for a big chunk of the year. In Albuquerque, on the other hand, they have these beautiful cumulonimbus clouds. I think I'm using that word correctly. And it's because in New Mexico, there's a lot of convective activity. There's a lot of thunderstorms, particularly in the summer. So it's kind of dangerous in some ways, but on the other hand, it looks absolutely gorgeous and cinematic. And the biggest single difference, I think, off the top of my head would be what would Breaking Bad look like if the skies were just a blank blue slate, blue, clear, empty slate? What would that? I don't know. Somehow it wouldn't be as interesting. The New Mexico is actually is east of California. When you think of the West in the United States, Westerns, how much farther west can you get than California? But oddly enough, California in the public imagination is not the Wild West. That would be New Mexico and Arizona. Yes. And so it feels like there was more possibility of making a contemporary Western with Breaking Bad. And that ethos continues to this day with Pluribus. I love the feel of the Southwest, the American Southwest, and how it relates to Westerns, Western movies, Western novels, the history of the Wild West, the Untamed West, as they call it. And I can't imagine any of these shows, particularly Breaking Bad. I can't imagine any of those shows being set elsewhere now, in hindsight.
Let's talk about the gods of casting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of the choices you've made in these 3 shows would be obvious ones at the time you first cast Bryan Cranston or Aaron Poe or Ray or Bob Odenkirk. What do you use? What tools do you use to really nail the choice? And what is the dynamic that these actors can not only develop, can own the character, but also give such astounding depth to them as they go along with them?
That's a great question. I hope I give a good answer. Just off the top of my head, it's always important to me that an actor can be funny. I think that
lovely.
There's so many wonderful actors, Oscar-winning actors, who not naming any names, but I just feel like if you held a gun to their head, they couldn't be funny. And I'm always looking for an actor, folks who do drama in capital blinking letters, and to me, drama's great, but I would always vote for an actor who can be funny, because I'm a little biased this way, and I don't know if, there are probably exceptions to my rule, so to speak, but I feel like if an actor can be funny, they can do drama as well. The reverse is not always true. Actors who can be intensely dramatic and make you cry and make your fist clench and all that, they're not necessarily going to be able to be funny. And all of these shows, it was important to me, starting with Breaking Bad, and certainly with Better Call Saul, and with this show, that we can have room for humor. I think a show devoid of humor is like crossing a desert. It doesn't matter how important the story is or how dramatic the storytelling. If there's no room for even an ounce of humor, it's like a desert without rain. Human beings at their very saddest, at their very most beaten down, still find a way to laugh. I mean, I bet you folks in Ukraine have great senses of humor, in countries where, in places on the earth where people are, victimized and are living really, really tough lives. I think you find some of the best, sharpest senses of humor in the world in places like that. And I think there's always room for it in drama. And I always look for it every chance I can. My writers and I look to inject it into our shows. And Rhea Seehorn is as funny as she can be, as is Bryan Cranston, as is Aaron Paul, and God knows, Bob Odenkirk is a famously funny individual. But I'd seen Bryan Cranston do drama. He had done it for me on an episode of The X-Files. But I just sort of knew all these actors could pull off that part of it. It's the funny stuff you got to make sure they can do before you hire them.
As I say goodbye to you, Vince, I say that I'm 100% with you on that. I think comedy is what makes drama.
And it makes the world a little more livable.
Yes.
Comedy humor makes the world a little more palatable, a little more livable. And I think we can use more of it.
Survive.
Yeah, I think we need more of it in the world, not just in TV. So.
Certainly. And again, it's been such a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Isabela. Pleasure talking to you as well.
Thank you. Bye bye. Se você gostou desse vídeo, não se esqueça de curtir, inscreva-se no canal e clique no sininho. E a gente se vê no próximo vídeo.